What is up, all? It is Hot Wheels Tournaments, and we are here with another Matchbox moving parts case unboxing and review. Today, we are looking at 2025 Wave 1. That's right, we're not even December of 2024 yet, but we are looking at 2025 cases. You may be asking, what happened to 2024 Mix 8? I haven't reviewed that yet. Well, that's because 2025 hit stores before 2024 the Wave 8 did, surprisingly. Sometimes that happens. A similar thing happened in, I believe it was 2022, Wave 7 hit basically nowhere. Those cars were really hard to find. And sometimes these cases, for whatever reason, just get skipped over. But we found Wave 1 of 2025 before Wave 8 of 2024. So let's talk about Wave 5. Or Wave 1 of 2025. It is a 5-car mix. We have 2 new models. Of course, we will talk about those at the end, saving the best for last, but there is a sneak peek of what the 2 new models in this case are, and we have 3 repeats making their way back. Matchbox card art is changing for 2025, but in the basic line only. So for the time being, moving parts is going to stay with this new packaging that was introduced in 2024. It'll show the moving part on the hood, and then we have the eco-friendly, no plastic packaging that we see now. We begin with the 1950 Chevy Suburban. Let's crack her open. Seen this one quite a few times at this point. It's an all right casting. I'm a completionist on this line, so I get every single version, but not every single release for Matchbox moving parts, but not every single release of Matchbox moving parts, is my favorite or my cup of tea. This is certainly one of those 50s, 60s classic cars oftentimes go over my head. But let's go ahead and talk about the Chevy Suburban. We get it here in a very nice red and white, rocking the Matchbox. Let's focus here. Rocking the Matchbox Fire Department deco. Very nice, very simple. Love to see chrome used on the base. Really enhances the model. If they went with something basic like black or gray, just wouldn't look as good. The chrome is really nice. It always pairs very nicely with those disc wheels, which we get here. Come around to the front, you see headlights, you see the Matchbox logo. That's a nice touch. That chrome grille looks fantastic. The moving part, of course, being the hood. Pop that sucker open and look at that. Nice and wide, we see a beautifully tampoed, detailed engine. Love to see that. That is fantastic execution. Come around to the rear. You see no rear deco, no taillights, no license plate, which is unfortunate. But nonetheless, I think this is a pretty solid release of this casting. I think it's a fun deco. While not being a licensed deco, it certainly looks good. The red is great. Love to see a chrome base. And that engine is an absolute star. That looks fantastic. All right, keep on moving. We follow up with the 2022 Alfa Romeo Stelvio. This is the second release for this casting. We saw it as a new model in 2023 in red. Now we get it in blue. Of course, the moving parts on this one being the doors. Pull this open. Pop that out. Let's take a look as it goes for a spin on our lovely, lovely, lovely little table here. Pulling it forward, taking a look, seeing the detail. There we go. We have some nice grille detail. We have some nice headlight detail. Love to see the Alfa Romeo badging there. Come around to the rear. You see we get faux old detail on this rear. It'll focus in here for us. Camera is fighting me today. It is not my friend. Can we get this to work? Okay, I guess we'll just settle there. Anyways, looking at that, we get full detailing on the rear. Nice license plate, says Alfa Romeo with the badging, everything appropriate there. Again, this model, like it did in the first release, sporting blacked out wheels. It was red with blacked out wheels. Now it's blue with blacked out wheels. And when we pull it up, we can go in here. We can open these doors. They go out nice and wide. Give this car cool. I love looking at it from the front, just seeing like the full wingspan of the vehicle. I always think that's really, really cool. But yeah, this is a solid release. I think it's really detailed. I think it's really well executed. If anything, it's unexciting being just an SUV. You know, we see a million of those on the roads. We now see a million of them in Matchbox. The Alfa Romeo grill is beautiful in my opinion. It's very unique, very recognizable, so I like that. But all in all, it's a pretty, uninteresting car, which makes it maybe uninteresting in its looks, which, Matchbox can't do anything about. They capture it perfectly here. It looks great in blue. This is a solid release. It has more to do with the casting choice than the actual execution of the casting itself, because the casting execution is fantastic from the orange team here. All right, keep moving along to our third re-release. Or I say re-release, this isn't a re-release, it's a recolor. New color for the Porsche Taycan GTS Super Sport. This appeared in Mix 7 of 2023. This actually just got released. I was able to find both colors of this car on the pegs. I found the red one, and now we're seeing this very, very sleek gray one. You can see opening door being the moving part on this one. Let's go ahead, pull it open. Glue, exceptionally sticky on this package. Goodness. All right, pulling it out, popping it out of its blister. Let's take a look at the Porsche Taycan GTS wagon. This is a really, really cool casting. I raved about it in the Mix 7 release for 2024, and I'm going to rave about it again. The red was very cool. This gray color, though, is striking. It is so unique. It is so modern Porsche. You just see what modern Porsches look like when people drive around the roads and they have these striking colors. This is certainly one of them. Gray is a hard color to make exciting. I think it is really exciting here because you don't see this shade of gray on many castings, and to see it applied to such a cool looking car, an actual wagon, in a day and age where these dominate the roads and are now starting to dominate the pegs because you have to make the cars that are being made in die cast. It is nice to see a fresh take on a wagon, a modern wagon, and this one looks fantastic. Talking about the actual execution itself outside of the color, you can see we get some nice rear badging. We get the headlights. We get the Porsche badging on the front. Nothing to do on the sides here. I think the blacked out 10-spoke wheels are a great choice. The 10 spokes, absolutely the appropriate choice. And then blacking them out and putting all the emphasis on just unique lines in the truly striking gray color here. Fantastic choice from the Matchbox team. This one looks great. Pulling it open, the doors look great. My one issue with this casting is the doors don't quite sit super flush. Sometimes they look a little crooked, and sometimes with the moving parts, you do have those gaps. But taking a look at it from a wingspan's perspective, that is fantastic. Yeah, this one is great. This is a fantastic release from Matchbox. I am really, really happy with that. Let it take a spin on the turntable. Take it all in. Wow. I mean, they absolutely crushed it. I could not be happier with this release. This is going to be a hard version of this casting to top, in my opinion. All right. Enough with the re-releases. Let's talk about the two new models. We begin with the 2024 Ford Mustang. Of course, a new Mustang generation has come out. A last of a dying breed. The Camaro is going away from Chevy. The Charger for the Dodge Challenger and Charger for Dodge have gone electric. The only, signature American muscle car that is getting a new generation currently is the Ford Mustang, and this is it. Matchbox is giving us their take on it here. Going moving parts. Typically, the new Mustang generations are basic models, but now with moving parts becoming the Goliath that it is and being the best line on die-cast shelves currently, as I say every single video, they are deciding to give the Mustang the proper treatment, and they're giving us an opening hood, which is very exciting. Let's go ahead, let it take a spin on the table, and talk about it. Get that sucker centered, and let's talk about it. Looks like we get some nice headlights and grille badging. Love to see that. Nothing on the side, stock look, and then the tail lights and rear badging. Really, really good. Maybe my only complaint, I don't know how I feel about the blacked out wheels yet. I think silver would have looked good. Maybe it would have been too busy. I'm debating it right now. I'll give a final thought on blacked out wheels. And the packaging, I did not like it. Outside of the packaging, kind of liking it, putting a lot of emphasis on the car. And I'm gonna let this spin one more time. This thing looks really good. Oh my. Just look at how stock it looks. Look at how low it sits. It's a proper length. My complaint with the Hot Wheels Mustangs a lot of the times, especially the newer ones, is they feel too short. Even the Matchbox ones sometimes have that. But this feels like a proper length, and it's really hard to explain it in a video. I can't really show it well because I don't have an old version, but I'd wager to guess that this Mustang casting is longer than recent Hot Wheels and Matchbox releases. Like, it feels heavier, it feels longer, and I think it is. Anyways, talking about the execution of the car itself, we can see those headlights, we can see that front grille. It's like black mesh, it is tampoed on there. It's really hard to see, especially on the camera, but that grille is tampoed on. You come to the top, we get a nice little, I think this is a tampo. Yeah, tampo right here to show the vent on the hood. That's a nice detail. That's something they very easily could have skipped over. They didn't. You love to see that. And then look at how flush this sits. You can barely tell that hood opens. It sits very, very flush. It looks like it's almost part of the casting itself and that there's not actually a gap there, which means when we open it up, it's not a detailed engine. Oh my goodness. That is such a letdown. It's a very well executed car. It is fantastic. The fact this doesn't have a detailed engine blows my mind. Why cut the budget short there? Oh my gosh. New Mustang generation. Fantastic execution. I've decided I like the wheels. I think it puts the emphasis on the car. I think it puts the emphasis on the red color. I was ready to call this thing incredible. No engine detail. Little bit of a letdown there. It's a great casting. It is a fantastic casting. Not perfectly executed because you don't have the engine detail. Oh my gosh. At least the hood, I can say this, the hood is one of those hoods that stays open. Oftentimes we see these hoods, they just fall back down. This one has the stuff in place to keep it open, which is really nice to see. It opens up nice and wide. Sometimes they don't open very far. You can't see inside. Here, it opens wide. You can see the whole thing. You can see how massive that moving part is. And when you close it, it sits flush. So the actual mechanism, the actual moving part for this casting is fantastic. The fact that the engine is not detailed, oh my, I would say like 80% of castings that have opening hoods get detailed engines for moving parts. It feels like that. To not have this one have an opening hood feels like such an overlook. Oh, that's so frustrating. It was almost perfect. It was almost perfect. It just had to stick the landing and it didn't. Either way, this is a great new model. I am really a big fan of that one. I just wish it had a detailed engine. Wow. I was ready to say some incredible things about that casting. And it's still incredible casting. You should still go pick one up if you're a Mustang fan or just a diecast fan. Anyways, final model we're talking about for this case is the Jeep Grand Cherokee. If you're thinking this is a new model, it just came out in the 2024 Mix 8 case, you'd be wrong. That's the Dodge Durango, but they are very similar releases in the fact that they have rear opening doors. I don't think they've done a rear opening door model until the Dodge Durango in the 2024 Mix 8. And now we're getting one following up immediately to start off in 2025 Mix 1. But let's take a look at it. It is sporting the iconic Matchbox National Parks deco. Love to see that. That looks really, really, really good. I don't know if we've seen that in moving parts yet. This might be the first moving parts model to have National Park deco. I'm trying to think. I can't think of one. I thought the Unimog or like the Jeep FC might have done it, but I don't think they have. I think this is the first one with National Parks deco. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, let's talk about this casting itself. Coming around, love to see front detail. Nice grille, Jeep badging, headlights. That looks great. Coming to the side, National Parks logo, all the stuff. Division 58, I'm guessing. Yes. Which tells me that Michael Giralda designed this deco, still working freelance, doing a lot of stuff for Matchbox, doing a lot of castings a year. Anytime you see a 58, almost guarantees that it's him, as that is his signature number. Come around to the rear. Oh, we were so close, but no rear deco. Little disappointing in this case. Every model coming up one side short and being fully tampoed, whether it's on the engine, whether it's on the rear. Little disappointing there. I think some red taillights and a nice license plate. would really make this. Again, a little bit of an oversight here. The price on these models has gone up to $3. You'd like to see full execution. The more expensive price point typically allows them to do every single side. Usually that's not a problem in moving parts. The fact that we've had an engine not decoed and now a rear not decoed, especially on the new castings, which typically Matchbox goes all out on for a new model year, little concerning for me. That's something I'll monitor over the course of this year, but yeah, a little bit concerning there. Anyways, looking at the moving part itself, these side doors would be really hard to get open, so they leave the window partially open, like partially rolled down, so you can do it. And even that is really tough. Oh, jeez. There we go. Got one. I'm gonna like scuff up the plastic if I can avoid it. All right, I'm fighting it too much. Anyways, here's what it looks like. You can see the hinge in there. Looks pretty cool. Very, very nice. Kind of looks cool from the front to have that side open. When you compare it to something like the Porsche, kind of a cool contrast of what like the front versus the side does for a car. Kind of cool to see that. Anyways, looks good. Also, one thing that's kind of unique, these aren't mirrored side to side. So you can see here, no deco on this door, right? There's no deco on the door, just the national parts stuff. Come around the side, no deco on the door or deco on the door, but we get Division 58. So I wonder if that's an error that it's not on that side, or if it is two different tampo passes on two different sides, they're not exactly the same. Typically, they're mirrors. It's just flip-flops. So that's kind of cool to see. But yeah, overall, this casting looks very, very good. It's very accurate representation of the real car. I would say it sits pretty well, in my opinion. It feels like a Jeep. It feels like it has the size of a Grand Cherokee. The Grand Cherokee they did in the main line all the way back in, what was it? I think it was like the 2015 year Grand Cherokee. Was a little bit small. This one is a proper size. It's a proper SUV size. It's much bigger, much heavier than the old Grand Cherokee in the mainline releases. So big improvement there. Great tampo work. The National Parks deco, very fitting here. Very cool to do that on a first edition for a model. But yeah, all in all, those are the 5 cars. I'm a little let down that some of these cars seem to be a tampo pass short. The Mustang not having the detailed engine is a letdown, and the Grand Cherokee not having a detailed rear is a letdown. But the 2 new models do wow. I would say they're good releases. I think the Mustang is the highlight for sure. If I had to rank these 1 through 5 like I typically do, rating the whole case, the Mustang is 1. I'm going to go ahead and say the Porsche is 2. Really love the color on that thing. I think it's a great casting. It's the best release. Actually, scratch that. You know what? The Porsche is 1, the Mustang's 2, the Trailhawk is 3, the Alfa Romeo is 4, and we'll give that Chevy wagon 5. Anyways, that's all for now. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me which one is your favorite. Tell me what you think about these releases, and tell me what you're looking forward to in 2025 Matchbox. I'll see y'all later. Peace.